property deed fraud. It's happening and can negatively impact homeowners. There are two variations popping up across the country. Criminals can forge a deed that gives them ownership of your home, or they can deceive people into signing a deed by promising help by refinancing a mortgage or paying overdue property taxes. Tonight, we're joined by the Register of Deeds here in Guilford County, Jeff Thigpen. We're discussing more about deed fraud, how you can prevent it from happening to you, and all things Register of Deeds. He's taking your questions. You can text your questions to 336-379-5775. All right, so before we even get into the deed fraud, can you just tell me, what does the Register of Deeds do? Because I think people don't know that they need you until they need you.
That's right. Most people don't know what I do until they get married, have a child, someone dies, or they buy a house. So we're a place where we take real estate transactions. People apply for marriages. We get that. And if you need to get a birth certificate for your child going to elementary school, we have that too. And if you lose a loved one, we have death certificates. We also have a passport office, which is one of the only walk-in passport offices in the area.
Okay. So all right. So that's the 101 there. So what we really want to focus in on, at least in this segment, is the whole thing of deed fraud. So kind of just give the 101. What is deed fraud?
Well, deed fraud is real estate transfers that happen without the knowledge or consent of the property owner. And that can involve forged documents, false signatures, impersonating parties, and as you mentioned, filing false deeds and mortgages. Clearly, it's situations where people have no legitimate right to take these actions related to anyone's property, but they do, and they do it because they're trying to commit fraud or a crime and benefit from it.
All right, and this is not something that just happens and people think, oh, it could happen. This actually is happening. You guys are working on a case right now.
Yes, we have. We've found a case that is being investigated, and arrest warrants are being issued right now. And the fact of the matter is that this is becoming more and more on the radar of law enforcement and our Register of Deeds Association and title companies in the real estate industry. Everybody knows this stuff is happening, and we are in active discussions about how can we really crack down on this so people can't take advantage of consumers.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what are the red flags that this might be happening.
Okay. Yeah. If you're a person who gets approached by someone who wants to sell you property, and they want to do it really quickly, or it's a quick cash sale, or you're dealing with vacant property or non-occupied property, if the properties are clear of liens, if you get on Facebook Marketplace, for example, and you see this really, really, really good deal where it's 50% below the market value, you got situations where people don't want to use real estate agents. They don't want attorneys involved. They don't want title searches done. These are all things that should raise your red flags that something may be going on. There may or may not be something going on in the transaction, but you got to be smart. You got to be smart about how these transactions take place, and you got to protect yourself.
All right, speaking of that, then let's go through the list. How do we protect ourselves as consumers?
I think as a general consumer, if you're dealing with a party that wants to sell you real estate, verify their identification. Figure out who they are. Ask them simple questions like, how long have you owned the property? Have you put anything into the property to create more value? Look at public records. Look at tax department records and Register of Deeds records. Consider getting an appraisal. Consider getting a real estate agent involved or a real property attorney to work with you. Look at, read the contracts carefully. And if people begin to make changes near the end of the transaction, or they want the money wired and they insist on it, you need to slow down and consider all these things and get in touch with people to be able to do your own due diligence. You have to make sure you have your own agency in these transactions. Do not let people take advantage of you. Don't sign things you do not understand, and do as much third-party verification on all these transactions as you can.
Okay, now that's for consumers who may be buying it. For those who have a house and they don't want to lose their house to this kind of scam kind of thing, there is a property fraud alert. Let's talk about what that is and how we get one.
Yeah, we have had fraud alert in Guilford County for probably 8 or 10 years. A person can go on our website and they can plug in their name or name variations and an email. And if any properties or any real estate transactions happen in our office, you will get an email that will tell you that the transaction has taken place. Some of those things are entirely legitimate in their peace of mind. But what happens in deed fraud situations is it's really important to know and understand as quickly as possible when it happens. Because if you do that, you can reach out to local police departments, the sheriff's department, consult attorneys, contact us, and begin the motion of really figuring out again how we can help support you work through it, and bring those people who are doing this stuff to justice.
So for the people who need to really be worried about this, it's not people probably who have like a 15-year mortgage and there's two people on the house deed or whatever. It's probably what, single owners, maybe they've owned the house for a while.
Yep, I would say you're single, you may be elderly, you may not have no liens on the property, you may have vacant property that's remotely owned. It's going to be these things where these fraudsters can get in there and say, how can I quickly fabricate these documents and put them online, or file them in our office and then get online and try to sell the property. And so if you're a married couple and you have 15 or 30-year mortgages in here, I think that sometimes they're less likely to be as targeted.
Right, because there's just too many hoops to have to jump through with that one. But what happens if you feel like you have been a victim of deed fraud? What do you do?
Definitely contact us at the Register of Deeds office. We can help support you with it. You'll need to contact either the Greensboro Police Department, for example, or Guilford County Sheriff. If you live in the city limits of Greensboro, you can contact them. Get an attorney. If you had an attorney that worked with you in your closings related to your property, get in contact with them. And there are a number of other resources that you can look to in terms of the FBI. They have a fraud unit that you can contact, the Consumer Financial Credit Bureau, Real Estate Bar Association, Real Estate Commission. There are a number of these resources that we all have on our website at guilforddeeds.com that you can look at, that can be resources that, depending upon what the situation is you're dealing with, you can go there and get support.
Okay.
Bottom line is you're not alone in this, and we can help you.
Okay, and if you don't live in Guilford County, you call your Register of Deeds in whatever county you are in, and they will start that process. All right, we're going to be taking your questions. We're also going to be talking about the upcoming Patriot Day and what you can do if you're going to be putting up a flag this Patriot Day. All of that coming up in the next segment.